Hello and welcome to the AI Experience News Roundup. Here's a look at the latest headlines and key developments in the world of AI, all in under 10 minutes.
If you think about what happened from GPT-3 to 3.5 to 4, it just got smarter.
The field became known as artificial intelligence.
Can machines really think?
What's the AI itinerary for journalism? A recent article in The Verge says the famous New York Times newspaper is starting to use artificial intelligence in its newsroom. Don't worry, that doesn't mean robot reporters are writing the news. The New York Times had made some rules. The big news is that the paper is allowing its journalists to use AI tools to help them to do jobs better. This tool can help things like editing, checking writing, making summaries, and even some computer coding. The New York Times even created its own AI tool called Echo to summarize articles and other documents. What's important is how the Times is controlling this. Journalists have to take training, and there are clear rules about how to use AI. For instance, AI can suggest interview questions, help with headlines that show up in Google searches, or create quizzes. But, and this is key, AI can't be used to write and change articles a lot or to get around payroll. The New York Times is clear. People are still in charge. AI is here to help, not to take over. Any AI-created content has to be checked with a real person. And it is also funny because the New York Times is suing OpenAI and Microsoft. They say those companies use New York Times articles to train ChatGPT without asking. It shows that the relationship between news companies and AI is somewhat complicated. Are we seeing the start of a major internet shakeup? A new study by Vox Media looks at how our online companies are changing, especially with AI becoming more common. The main point, the huge, sprawling internet as we know today is starting to feel old. We are talking of the internet turning 30 soon. Think about it. Search engines, social media sites, do they really give us what we need today? Maybe not. One big finding is that people are losing trust in the big platforms. Users feel like they are just numbers in an algorithm getting hit with tons of ads. People are tired of echo chambers on social media. 42% of consumers think search engines like Google are becoming less helpful. 60% feel negatively about social media. That means people are searching options to use like AI chatbots, smaller niche communities, and platforms focused on short engaging content like TikTok. So what do people want? The research shows people want deeper, more real connections. Think less mass broadcasting and more curated conversations. This goes for brands and content too. People are more likely to interact with brands and content when they are part of the smaller, focused communities. And so what about AI in this? It's kind of tricky. While AI can be powerful, people are wary of it. Almost half of the people surveyed said that they prefer communities that do not allow AI-generated content. They want human interaction, not automated replies. In short, the internet is changing. Power is shifting back to the user. The future of online communities isn't about huge platforms or endless scrolling. It's about curated experiences, genuine connections, and maybe, surprisingly, a little less AI. Is AI killing the job of translator? A powerful article from Rest of World looks at the tough situation of translators in Turkey, a country where translation has always been important for culture and politics. It's a striking picture. Highly skilled Turkish translators, some with PhDs, are now training the very AI that threatens their jobs. They work for companies that are hired to train big language models for tech giants like OpenAI, Microsoft, and Meta. So what do? They check the answers of chatbots like ChatGPT or Gemini, looking at grammar, how smoothly it reads, the tone, and spotting phrases that only AI would use. Basically, they are teaching the machines to sound human. So why are they doing this? Because the traditional translation market is collapsing. Before AI, young translators could start by translating all kinds of documents. Now, entry-level jobs are often just post-editing machine translations, basically fixing the mistakes of AI. And it's a cruel irony. These translators earn more money training AI than they would doing actual translation. A 20-minute AI training task can pay $20, which is the same as about 4 hours of traditional translation work. But Is this work just a temporary fix? The translators themselves worry that AI training jobs will disappear once the AI models will get good enough. This is especially true for languages like Turkish, which don't have as much training data as English. The article quotes experts who predict that average translators will disappear. Only the very best who can handle complex situations like translating speeches at important meetings might survive. The conclusion is harsh. The translator profession, once respected and important, is losing its protection, to quote a Turkish publisher. It's a global trend, as a UK study showed that 1/3 of translators have lost work to machines. How did a fake job offer using OpenAI's name trick workers in Bangladesh? Wired magazine uncovered a clever scam that used the well-known AI startup OpenAI name to cheat people looking for work. The story starts on Telegram, where someone claiming to work for OpenAI offered Bangladeshi workers simple online tasks paid in cryptocurrency. They were promised a steady income and a chance to invest in crypto. The victims were asked to create an account on a website that looked professional and deposit cryptocurrency. The scam was well organized. A system of teams with different levels made it seem like a real company. On August 2024, they woke up as a nightmare. The website, the money they invested, and the fake employees were all gone. The victims, who thought they were working for OpenAI, realized they had lost everything. Wired got 11 complaints filed with the US Federal Trade Commission by Bangladeshi workers. These complaints suggest a large-scale scam that lasted for months and affected thousands of people, from teenagers to people in their 50s across Bangladesh. The money lost was sometimes people's life savings, putting them in a very difficult financial situation. One worker lost the equivalent of $50,000. The investigation found that the website was hosted by a Chinese company. The site showed US registration numbers to look legitimate, but this information was false. This scam, unfortunately, is not unique. It's part of a large pattern of job scams using cryptocurrency. Scammers use the names of famous companies like OpenAI and prey on people's trust and desire for a job. Cybersecurity experts point out that Asian cultural norms, where respect for authority is important, can make people more vulnerable to this type of scam. Scammers pretend to be authority figures and take advantage of the urgent need to find a job. Bangladesh has been particularly affected by these scams, with recent cases of workers being lured by fake job offers abroad or even becoming victims of organ trafficking. Is Pinterest, once a haven for mood boards and creative inspiration, turning into a dumping ground for AI-generated images? That's the alarming question raised by an article in Futurism, which criticized the flood of slop, meaning low-quality, automatically generated content on the platform. Pinterest used to be the perfect place to find ideas for home decor, recipes, fashion inspiration, or DIY projects. Now, when you search for healthy recipe ideas, you find weird-looking AI-generated pictures of food that link to blogs run by fake authors, also created by AI. The goal? To attract clicks and generate ad revenue. Take the example of Charlene, or Alice depending on the page, a supposed food blogger and cookbook author. Her profile picture is clearly AI generated, and her blog is full of automatically generated recipes and articles optimized to appear at the top of Pinterest search results. This happens with almost every search. Gothic architecture, hairstyles, shelving ideas, AI-generated images blend surprisingly well with Pinterest visual style, but if you look closely, you'll notice some strange details like books without titles or hands with too many fingers. The worst part is that the content is usually not labeled as AI-generated, neither by the platform nor by the creators. Pinterest users are frustrating and they are expressing it on Reddit and elsewhere. They complain that they can no longer find authentic human-created content. Meanwhile, some marketing experts are bragging on YouTube about making thousands of dollars a month by flooding Pinterest with AI-generated content. The method? Use ChatGPT to come up with ideas, another tool to generate articles and images, and yet another one to create high-catching Pinterest pins. All of this in a minimum amount of time and effort. There's even a masterclass to teach you how to do it. Faced with this problem, Pinterest hasn't banned AI. On the contrary, the platform recently launched AI tools to help advertisers create ads quickly. Pinterest claims that AI-generated content only makes up to a small part of a total content, but users see the opposite. Pinterest's inability or unwillingness to control the issue raises a crucial question. Who benefits from the internet today? In Pinterest's case, the answer seems to be AI spammers rather than users or authentic content creators. And ultimately, that makes the online experience worse for everyone. That's a wrap on this week's AI News Roundup. Join me every Sunday for a new episode in English or in French, packed with expert interviews on the front lines of the AI revolution. For my French-speaking listeners, head over to the show AI Experience en Français on your favorite podcast platform. And if you liked what you heard, I'd really appreciate those 5-star ratings. Talk to you soon.